MICKEYMOUSE.
I didn't think you were singing, but okay.
Mickey
Mickey
Mouse.
Mouse.
Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse.
Tiffany, your magic band. Oh, for the... Oh,
I have a dog on my face.
You do have a dog on your face. Would you mind explaining why?
Because the other dog goes crazy. Ah!
Was it too tight?
Yes!
Sorry. I don't think I can fix it.
Hi, we're here to talk about our Disney trip.
But one of us is professional, and she doesn't do these hardly at all.
Not at all.
So,
But I've done Disney 6 times. How did I like it every time?
We're pretty much going to break it down into 3 categories. The travel and hotels, Universal, and Disney. It makes it easier. Seeing that our 1-year anniversary of our trip together is coming up really soon.
And I don't remember anything.
Without getting us all together.
We didn't properly introduce her.
No, we didn't.
Hopefully as we share, I will have a memory.
Yes. So, for those of you who don't know, which is pretty much anybody, this is Mar.
Hi.
She is one of our friends. She's actually the friend that we went to Disney with, obviously. But, fun fact, she's actually our senior year teacher as well. And we just kind of kept a close relationship with her, and we love her. So she pitied us and took us to Florida.
She did. Also, the change of scenery is for the fact that we're actually in her house and not mine for once.
Yes.
Yes.
We have another dog.
Welcome
roaming
to
around
my
here somewhere,
abode.
but, you know.
Welcome to your beautiful kitchen.
Yes.
All right, so
We're country. I'm a little bit country.
we got a little.
Okay, so
Where are we gonna start here? I don't know how we're going about this, but
Well, we slept at my house the night before.
yes.
Got up early in the morning and took off in Sarah's family van. And there's a really good story about the family van we'll get to.
Yes. Fun fact: we left here around 5:30ish in the morning.
give or take.
I don't
Give or
remember.
take. But apparently, they were up, and she said to us if we just came in and told them, then we would have just gone. We practically just laid there and
Suffered.
stared at the ceiling
We
for
did.
4 hours. So,
Next time, if this ever happens again, we'll know better.
They slept the whole way down. She
I
did.
slept the whole way
She
down.
slept the whole way and coming back.
I will gladly accept
She
that.
slept more on the way back than the way
More on the
down.
way.
Which is understandable.
And we had to listen to Disney songs all the way down. I
We
thought
listened to a mix. It was a mix between like Disney, oldies, and
A little bit of
Christian.
Christian.
no.
There was a lot more Disney.
It was Disney. And I thought that was part of the reason my husband was irritated.
Oh
My husband is Jerry. He's not really kid friendly, but he's stable. Whereas I'm
No.
a little more erratic. But he seemed a little more erratic on this trip than normal. Could have been the Disney music.
Could have been the Disney music or the fact that our GPS tried to kill us on multiple occasions.
That's true. We had a GPS system from my son that, what did you name it?
no. Regina.
Regina from Once Upon a Time.
Evil Queen.
And she took us on back roads and into parts of the country I never ever want to see again. I could hear banjos playing in the background, and all I could think of was Burt Reynolds.
We knew it was going to be a good trip though when we got 15 minutes up the road and realized that we forgot the GPS and had to come back and get it and then go
Really?
again. Yeah. Yeah, we forgot it and then had to come back and
Totally
get
do
it.
not remember that.
And then
I
she led
do.
us down a back road, and Mara was convinced that the children of the corn were going to come out and kill us.
Deliverance.
So that was a fun start to the trip. Mind you, that was probably like 30 minutes worth of like an all-around like 30-hour trip.
30 hours?
Both ways.
Give or take.
Both ways.
Both ways.
Oh, okay.
Not down. We
Maybe
didn't get
a
lost
little
that
bit
bad.
more. It's about a 17-hour drive.
Yeah, it depends.
I think we got there a little bit sooner than that the first time. Then the
We
Coming
stayed
back was a
over
little
on
bit
the way
longer.
down. We drove
Yeah.
straight
Yeah.
through on the way back.
Mhm.
So
So,
Outside of a little light traffic, though, it was pretty much good driving down.
Mhm.
It's just the hotel, the first hotel.
so our first stop was Georgia. Well,
Yeah,
I
we
say
thought
our
it
first
was
stop.
Georgia.
We stopped a whole bunch. We stopped at like every single pit stop, got out, walked around, took pictures, and went to the bathroom. You know, all that fun stuff.
thank you
Um,
for sharing that bathroom.
You know, what else do you gotta do?
I mean, this is coming from the person
We
that
ate.
talked about wanting to rip off their bra as soon as they get to the hotel. Do you really think she's gonna not talk about the bathroom?
Any woman out there will agree with me.
We
But
thought
we're not saying it.
we thought we stopped in Georgia to spend the night. Turns out it was South Carolina.
Yeah.
I don't
And
remember
it
that.
was the Ramada.
Yes, and we found a very lovely looking Ramada on the outside.
Uh-huh.
And when we went in, and in fact, I had reservations, didn't I? We had
No, we
didn't have
found
for
it.
that. We
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
we literally just like drove
Thank God I did not make
until we found a
reservations.
hotel.
So, we had reservations for the other place.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another
Yeah.
story. So anyway, we go in, we get our room. It's not nice. Then we decide, well, we're gonna go out and go in the pool. So we get our suits on, we go out, and I look in the bottom of the pool, and there's poop in the pool.
Yes.
So, I'm going, everybody out, get out, get out. We cannot swim in poop pool. Of course, they denied that that's what it was, but I still say it was poop. In
Mind
the
you,
pool.
they argued that they cleaned the pool that very day.
Yeah, not true. They lied.
The kiddie pool was filled with bugs.
Bugs and leaves and dirt. And
Yeah.
we even mentioned it, in
The vlogs.
the vlog that the time we went, it had just, Hurricane Irma had just gone through maybe like 3 days
Dropped
before.
poop in the pool.
And I'm like, well, but even by the time it hit South Carolina, it was reduced down to a tropical storm. So they couldn't even use that as an excuse for the fact that why their patio furniture was all over the place and why there was leaves and dirt and bugs in the pool. And like, I'm not just talking a little bit of leaves, dirt, and bugs. I mean a lot. Like, you couldn't even see the bottom of the
But the
pool.
fun part of the whole evening was that when the girls finally went to bed, I wake up in the middle of the night and Tiffany is sleeping on the floor.
Yeah.
Apparently, I kicked her out of the bed around like 1-ish. I don't recall this.
Well, see, here's what happened is I got up, I went to the bathroom, I come back, Sarah's spread eagle, I'm going to move that because I keep knocking it off the table. Sarah's spread eagle starfishing on the bed, and Sarah and I have been friends since preschool. And
You don't
so
wake me up.
I know from experience that you do not try and wake Sarah up.
Unless you like
It's going to end in death, and pain, and torture. And Becky, you can agree with me, right? You can testify to this.
If she's startled, she will swing on you.
Yes, she will. And if you annoy her after a 15-hour drive, she will kill you. So I wasn't even gonna bother. I just grabbed my pillow and went on the ground.
I remember crashing around 9, which is completely out of the blue for me. I usually don't go to bed until like 1 or 2 a.m. and I passed out at 9 a.m. Oh dear Lord. 9 p.m. Woke up at midnight thinking it was 6 a.m. because I heard someone on their phone.
Raising Cain.
Went to the bathroom, came back to bed, passed out. She was still there and apparently I kicked her out.
Okay, so
eventually.
here's the interesting thing. While we're in the Hotel Ramada with the poop in the pool, my sister-in-law in Florida, where we were going to visit, sends me a text message or an instant message, something, and says, you cannot stay where you're staying when you hit New Smyrna because it's a drug den.
Yep.
So I'm freaking. So I get up in the morning and I call her. And we've already paid in advance. This was a place where you pay, which should have sort of triggered me. But anyway, I call Renee and Renee says you cannot stay there. It is a known hangout for druggies, blah, 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 blah. So now our reservation is, I have to call them and cancel the reservation, which I found out is non-refundable and I had to pay for anyway. So then Renee found us a very nice hotel, which was the highlight of the trip in my opinion.
Yeah.
Best Western.
Best
Oh,
Western.
heaven.
Very, very nice. Oh my goodness, the pool was wonderful. I don't know if you put any of those videos on.
Yes,
Oh,
they're all there.
Lord,
The
Lord.
audio's crap, but they're all there.
Yep.
Okay, well, that's probably a good thing.
Like half of the travel videos is just us in the pool.
Yeah.
Well, I have to tell you, that was a very nice place. I highly recommend Best Western New Smyrna Beach. There's a Subway across the street too.
There's everything across the street.
Yeah.
So trip was fun, but we get there the first night, right? And my family decided that they were going to have a get-together. And we had had a death in the family a couple months before, and so it was kind of a celebration of that life, but a reunion of sorts for all of us. And we get there and we're waiting, and Sarah and Tiffany get introduced to everybody, and the family's getting along, and we're sitting at the table, and all of a sudden, now I want you to remember, we have Sarah's family van. Sarah's white family van.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting outside.
Yep.
So I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden I see my sister-in-law come in, someone come behind her, she grabs somebody, they go out, and I'm thinking, a few minutes more people are going out, they come and get me, I go out, and my sister-in-law, God bless her, is this a rental? I said, no, this is Sarah's family van. Oh my, I'm so sorry. I was so nervous. And she took out the front side of the van. Parking. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to tell Jerry. Well, I can't upset her. I don't want to upset Laura because it's a long story, but I didn't want to upset Laura. So I'm like, oh, it's okay, it's okay. Jerry does this, he can do this. So went in and got Jerry, and Jerry came out, and God bless his little heart, he was so nice. He's like, oh, don't worry about it, I'll take care of it. I love that. I think he was thinking about her too.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I heard about it later, which is another story. But he had just said that day, the only thing he cared about, and I can't remember how he worded it, but the only thing he cared about was not messing up that van, because we never borrow cars or use anybody. It's so against anything we believe in. But these two girls wanted to go to Disney, and they don't. I have a little HHR, which is this wide, and the seats are this big, so it's uncomfortable in that middle seat and not enough room for luggage. So we were thankful we had it. It saved us a lot of money in renting, so we appreciated that. But that was Jerry's first job when he got home, fix the van. And he did.
It wasn't that bad though. We've had worse to the van.
It was.
And they were panicking.
It wouldn't have been bad had it been our van, but it was your van.
We
And-
weren't upset.
Nah.
I know. I was like, oh my, we got to tell Sarah's mom.
Both of us, and Dad, who's not here, ended up looking at it when we brought it back, and it's like, oh, yeah, we've had worse. But that's fine. We could have lived.
Can we just have a
they did
moment
fix
here
it.
and worship God, because it could have been so much worse. Thank you, Lord. You always take care of us. So then, let's see, we had a great family night.
Spent
the
most
girls,
of the time with the dog.
the girls actually loved my family, and they loved them.
Fun fact, I don't know if it's because she felt guilty or not, but Laura, the one who accidentally hit the van, she had come to see Mara the next morning, and she brought Sarah and I donuts and apple and orange juice.
Orange juice.
Like
Yeah.
2 dozen donuts and like 6 cartons of orange juice.
2 dozen donuts?
Yeah.
Yeah. Two
There was a lot.
containers of donuts.
I never even saw a donut. So what next? We went to a great Subway too.
Yeah, Yeah, the thing with our Best Western, it really was amazing when we say that. Like, the beds were comfortable. It was reasonably priced
Clean.
too.
It was clean.
Like for 2 nights, it was like
Yeah.
$200 some, which is
No
great.
poop in the pool.
The pool, the water was heavenly. The view was pretty nice. We were surrounded by everything we needed. Like,
Yes.
in our little area, we had the Subway, we had a Winn-Dixie right next door, we had everything in that little area.
The beach was
So-
not even like 5 minutes away.
Yeah,
No.
the
If we
beach wasn't
ever
long.
go to Florida again, which my family's talking about family reunions August 19th, or that weekend, to celebrate Travis, which they just did. So they're talking about making that family reunion week. So we would probably stay there again if we ever go.
Mhm.
So Best Western,
Interesting.
New Smyrna Beach, Florida. Great place.
Yes.
Not very
Even
expensive
though
either.
it was, the beach wasn't the best.
Well,
Well,
right
It was
after
just
a
after the
hurricane.
hurricane.
Yeah, that wasn't the beach's fault. I feel like
No.
if we went again, not 3 days after a hurricane hits, I think we would have
Yeah.
a better experience.
I will say this is the first trip I've ever had to New Smyrna Beach that there was not a shark attack while we were there.
Oh, that's good to know.
Because New Smyrna Beach is the shark capital of the world. So
Well, I did not know that. Glad I know that
I
now
would've
before we
told
go
you
next
after
time
you
and I
went
go in the water.
It's the absolute truth. It is the absolute truth. If you watch Shark Week, they will cover New Smyrna Beach.
Yeah, I don't. For reasons exactly like this one.
Well, at least we know now.
Now we know
I
after
really
we've been
should go
there
on
in the
out
water. But okay, so moving past
Bye.
travel day and
Travel,
the first
hotel.
day. So, like we said, we got to Florida. The first night was the reunion, and then the next day was the beach. So that was all said, done, dealt with. The day after the beach, we checked out of Best Western, and that was the day that we were going to Universal, and we were going to be checking into Disney that night.
Yes.
Now, Universal, we got there first thing in the morning. Like, right as we were walking to pay, they were doing the morning announcement. It was, I liked Universal a lot.
That was
you
my
know?
favorite part of the trip, frankly, other than my family.
I loved Universal. I would love
Yep.
to go again and
Same.
spend maybe 1 or 2 more days there because we barely got to see anything. We mostly spent time in Diagon Alley because it was cool and
The dragon.
yeah.
That's my reasoning.
We did
The
walk
dragon.
down like San Francisco because we ate.
We did San
At
Francisco
Richter's.
and we walked through a little bit of New York.
We wanted to go on the Jimmy Kimmel ride, but then we found out that you have to get a ticket to come back to it, and I'm like,
We don't got that
no.
much time.
I just want to say that I think Universal is really, really expensive. We paid $280 for the 2 of us. One park, 1 day until 5 o'clock. That's outrageous. Now, on that, after saying that, I have to tell you, Ride the Simpsons. Ride the Simpsons. That was a
we didn't even get to go to Simpsons.
No.
love the
We
Simpsons.
could see The Simpsons for more than 8
Oh,
months.
that was the
but we didn't
best.
go.
Love that, and I love the Terminator thing.
I really liked
That
the Escape from Gringotts ride. That was really cool. Like all
Who?
the different ride
That was the
elements.
Gringotts and Hogs. Not Hogsmeade. That
Oh.
was in Diagon Alley.
It was
Yeah.
very hot. We thought we were going to die waiting in line for that.
We waited in line for close to 2 hours.
None of the fans worked. Just want to tell you, they're outside. You're outside. The ceiling fans were broke. People were leaving. I mean, they
I
didn't
will
leave
say
fast enough,
this.
in my opinion. And just remember that if you want to ride something at Universal, most of the rides require you to put your stuff in a locker before you go on the ride. So if you're in line for 2 hours and you get up there with something, and they go, you have to put that in a locker. You have to put that, they won't let you on. So put your stuff in a locker first and then go take off riding. Same is true at Disney, by the way.
I will say
Disney
this
will
much
let you
though.
take
I
more
feel
stuff
like
on, though.
Disney
I feel
was easier.
I personally feel like Universal, for me personally, for what my experience was with Disney, I feel like Universal was more worth my money personally. I liked it a
better.
lot more. I feel like if we had more time, we could have done everything. And I also kind of wish that we would have gone to like Volcano Bay or any of the water parks. But I feel like if you do go to Universal, you need to get the express pass.
Yeah. we
It's
found out
a little bit of
the hard
an
way.
additional
Yeah.
charge, but for the time you're gonna spend waiting in line to go on rides, that was Chewy. He's not happy. He's not involved. But the time that you're going to stand waiting in lines, it's just going to be a better payout at the end of the day to have that express pass so you can do more with your time. This is Chewy. He's joining the party.
Hello. Raw, raw, raw.
Sarah, you need a dog.
And one of the best things
you have
about
Lady in the Tramp.
one of the best things about Universal is they have cooling stations.
Mm-hmm.
So they have these big rooms where you can go in and sit in the air conditioning and have ice and water for free. So if you have small children or you're older,
Or you just aren't
and you're
making
with
peas.
someone who's even older, you want to make sure you note those cooling stations. But I loved walking through Universal. They had archways, and we went in October, and it was Halloween, so they had pumpkins
Yeah, it was
cut,
almost
and
October.
they didn't do a lot of Halloween stuff, but they had beautiful fall decor. It was lovely. And they
Yeah.
had a lot of characters walking around. A lot of people that you could talk to and have your picture taken with. I really like them much more than Disney. Sorry.
I personally did too. That being said, we'll get to this in a minute, but by the time we got to Disney, we didn't actually get to go where I was really looking forward to going, so that we'll get there. But I mean, another thing too about Universal is in the lines actually, even though we queued for a while, they even had like queue fans and stuff, so even though you were standing there, you were still getting some kind of air blown on you.
Except in the
Green
Hogwarts
Dots,
thing.
apparently.
Except for outside
Yeah.
in the
They were
in the
broken.
Green Gots ride.
But I agree.
There was
I
a
liked it
lot
better.
of fans when we were queuing up for the train, though, which was a blessing because that
I
was
think
a
the ones
long
at the one
wait.
place were just broke. I
Yeah.
think they were just broke.
It was a very long wait for the train, which is a little upsetting because I had wanted to go to the Marble Land, but we didn't have time by the time we got on
Yeah.
the train and was able to go back.
Another thing though about Universal is I feel like their food, like what you're paying and what you're getting is a lot more bang for your buck than Disney. Because I don't know if you guys went somewhere to eat, but Sarah and I, we went to Richter's and we got burgers and fries and they give us huge portions for like $15.
Okay, so we got the meal plan. They did too.
At
That's
Disney,
not for
anyway.
Universal.
It's a much better deal. Get that.
Disney we got the
Yeah.
meal plan, Universal we didn't.
We got free
But-
dining.
Free.
We
did
got
get
free dining because we went-
dining.
Yeah, free dining at Disney.
We went late September.
But I tell you what,
We
if
got
we
free
didn't get
dining.
free dining at Disney and didn't
That
get the
was
deal
gonna
plan,
be
I would not have bought any
expensive.
food at Disney.
Don't eat. Pack a lunch.
I don't buy any food
Or
at Disney.
fast for the week.
I'll tell you what, I'm glad we had the,
Meal plan.
you know, let's just move on to
Yeah,
Disney.
we've
'cause-
already moved on to Disney at this
Yeah,
point.
let's go on to Disney.
'Cause,
Well,
well-
let's talk about the check-in at Disney.
okay,
Yeah.
well,
Let's take a step back. Talk about check-in.
alright. So, we finished at Universal around 4 p.m. because we wanted to be out of there before the horror night started. So, we got out there about 4 p.m. and we went and we did a little bit of shopping because we stopped at the outlets. And then we went to check into
Waste
Disney.
of time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the outlet wasn't very good.
Waste
We went to the
of
wrong one.
time.
Apparently there's two, and apparently that wasn't the one that we should have gone to. We should have
No.
gone to the other one. That's another
But
story
we weren't telling
entirely.
Jerry.
We weren't telling Jerry, no.
We were
No,
not
we were
telling
not.
Jerry.
We both picked up at least one item, so he didn't think it was going to be a wasted trip.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But, so we went to check into Disney, and check-in at Disney is around 4. So we got there, perfect timing. We got there maybe a little bit
We did
after, what,
online.
6?
7.
We did
7?
the online check-in
Yeah.
on the way out of Universal.
And here's the thing: is when we were at Universal, Sarah and I were waiting in line to get onto the Hogwarts Express to go back to Islands of Adventure, I believe.
Yes.
And I had checked our Disney app because they said that they were going to have our room and everything, and we had a room. We did have a room,
But it was my room.
but it was her room.
And
So-
my food plan.
We had gotten 2 separate rooms, but we wanted them to be close or adjoining or whatever. And so we got in the car and we're like, oh yeah, we already got our room. It's blah, 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 blah. And they're like, that's our room. And I'm like, wait, what? No, it's not. It's our room. And so we actually ended up calling our travel agent
Who did nothing, pretty much.
and and she was just as lost as we were.
Friend of the family.
Highly doubt she's gonna
We
watch
love
this,
her.
so we can throw her under the bus. if
We
need to.
we love her.
But that all being said, we got to Disney. We had called her and she said to just go to check in at the front desk and find out what they wanted us to do. Well, they didn't do crap.
Her name.
Okay. Continue.
Okay, so we get there to check in, and we get finally, after we let them know that we have 2 different reservations, which they kept saying that we were together. No, we have 2 reservations. It was hard to make them understand that.
It took us about half an hour to
Oh
get
my
it through their
gosh.
head.
I was not at my finest.
Keep in
I don't do
mind,
well under stress.
keep in mind, on top of all that, we had just come from a really long day at Universal.
We were
really
hot and
hot.
tired.
Day
Hot, tired,
Universal?
exhausted, ready to go to bed,
Yes.
and it just wasn't happening.
So they finally get us rooms on the opposite sides of each other.
2
And
entirely different buildings.
they get a room. I don't know what their condition was in,
We
but when
were-
we got to our room, I had people's old food in the refrigerator and their dirty soap in my bathtub. Now, I want to say this. I have been to Disney 6 times, and I'm not going again. Never, ever had a situation like we walked into. I do have to say, I believe it was probably because of the hurricane. They were bringing people in who did not have places to stay and letting them come in for a reduced rate, not free. So I kind of think that had a lot to do with it. But we finally got settled in, and for all our trouble, for having to clean my own refrigerator and clean my own bathtub and throw away the dirty soap, they were generous to us and gave us 1 free fast pass
Yep.
for the next day. That was what we got.
Now, I don't know if that actually helped them at all, but Sarah and I, our first day was at Hollywood Studios. It didn't help us at all.
They gave us a free fast pass for the whole.
Debacle.
Sorry, you don't have a room. So you technically would have ended up with like 2 free fast passes by the end of your day because you got one as well, I think, from the room situation.
Yeah, they gave me 1 because my room was dirty. I didn't get anything else.
So, I know that it goes back to the hurricane because I think I heard that they were also, people who had canceled their trips because of the hurricane were all coming back at once. So I can understand, and when it comes down to that, it's not the point. The point is that it's Disney, and you always hear of Disney, if something's wrong
Yep.
or something's not the way it should be, they go out of their way to fix it and make it better and make
Yes.
it comfortable, and that just was
They did
not
not
the
do
case.
anything. They did not do anything, and there was no follow through on their part to find out how our
Silent
stay
voice
went.
message.
I will tell you, in all the trips I've made to Disney, this one was very, very disappointing. And part of the disappointment was we were after a hurricane when the weather was extremely humid, and it was in the 90s practically the whole time we were there. We were burning up, and you could tell, like, everybody, if you saw a dad or a mom with small children, the kids were getting yelled at and drug around by their wrist. Characters were walking away when there were still lines of kids there. You could tell the whole situation was kind of, nerves were frazzled. It smelled bad in places. There were places where you turned a corner and it felt like sewage was, like you could smell the drains. I went into one bathroom and actually turned around and left because the stench was so bad. It just was not the quality that you're normally, like you said, it's not what you expect when you go to Disney. Now, that being said, I will say that when we went into eat-in restaurants, I could not have found a more pleasant experience. Every waitress,
Food.
every character that we ran into was wonderful. That was a wonderful experience. Always in the restaurants, it's wonderful. Except when we went to breakfast the first morning and found out that our meal plans were all on me, and we had to have them straightened
Yeah,
out.
that was blowover from the day before.
Yeah.
That
But
was
yeah,
so
the
fun.
meals were really great. Sarah and I had gone to the Garden Grill.
Have you
on-
ever gone there?
I don't know where I've been.
The-
It's in Epcot.
Yeah. It's in the
It's
Lamp.
in
If
the
it was in
Lamp.
Epcot, I've probably been there because Epcot's
It's
my
a
favorite
character
place to be.
dining, so you might have
Probably
had to
went
bring
with the
the
kids.
It was a really good experience. Our waiter was amazing. The food was incredible. They brought Sarah an entire plate of roast beef because she liked it so much.
They did. It
And
was
then,
good.
I mean, the character interactions were great. We got there, our dinner was very late.
Mhm.
It was around 8, which is like just before Epcot closes. So there were maybe like 3 other families there having dinner. So by the time we got done, the characters have come around about 5 times. And each and every time they kind of stopped to interact with us, which is great. And at the end of it all, our waiter, he asked us if we wanted any like dessert or anything, and we said no because we honestly couldn't eat anything else. And he still brought us a couple cookies to take with us.
I don't think we actually ever ate those cookies, though.
I think so. I don't know.
Like the
I don't
donuts.
think I did.
Yeah, like the donuts.
We hardly ate at all.
We did.
I
hardly
would have ate a donut had someone shared with me a donut.
Well,
We'll make it up to you next
We'll
time.
buy you
when
a
you're
donut.
I don't
eating
eat them
sugar
anymore.
again.
No sugar.
When you're eating sugar again, we'll
No
make it up
sugar,
to
but-
you.
Tell them about your long walk. That was funny.
yeah, so that was the
That was Hollywood Studios, same day.
the
as
first day. So
Ohana.
coming back to our first official day, we had all gone our separate ways pretty much for the trip. We had stopped and had like one meal a day with each other just to like, you know, cover what was going on that day, catch up, blah, blah. So after breakfast at Ohana, you guys went to,
Who knows?
I have no idea
It
where
might
they
have been
went.
Animal Kingdom.
I have no
First
idea.
day we went to Animal Kingdom.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was
So
Animal
they went to
Kingdom.
Animal Kingdom, and Sarah and I went to Hollywood Studios because our frame of thought was to work our way up from the least exciting to the most exciting. Bad idea. Do what you want to do
Yeah.
first. That way, by the time you're exhausted, you're fine. So we went to Hollywood Studios first, and it is very difficult to get to Hollywood Studios. Apparently, at least it was for us, because Sarah
Trusted Google.
trusted Google, which I told her not to.
We should have honestly seen if Polynesian had buses.
But she
which we
she
probably
trusted Google,
did. It did.
so we
Did you have a
went.
map?
No.
Not at that point. We hadn't actually gone into the parks yet.
This was right after we left breakfast with you guys.
So
We use a map. A Disney map.
either way, I don't think we could have found our way to
We
get to
used maps
Hollywood
and it still didn't help
Studios.
us eventually.
Yeah,
You
But-
gotta know how to read them.
don't know how to read them. So we took the monorail back to Magic Kingdom, I think. Got off, had no
Eventually.
clue what we were doing, and then we went to. It was like the
We ended up
transportation
going to
center or something.
transportation tickets then.
And we asked the guy, you know, what's the best way to get to Hollywood Studios? And he told us we had to get on the boat, go
Back
across
to
the
Magic
lagoon,
Kingdom.
go across the lagoon, and then get on a bus. Well,
We missed the buses.
we didn't see the buses. That was after we got off the monorail. We didn't see any buses, so we asked that guy what to do. He told us to go on the boat and go across the lagoon. We did that. We couldn't find any buses that went to Hollywood Studios.
I'd have been laying on this side then.
Oh,
Please just
it gets
kill me
better.
now.
It gets better. Okay, so we started walking.
Thinking we could find the buses.
We could not find the buses. We ended up walking from God knows where we were at this
Magic
point
Kingdom.
to the Contemporary, which is a good like mile or so walk. So, and we didn't realize until we were like halfway through the walk.
And
So Sarah's like, let's just go back. I'm like, no, we're getting this far. I'm going the rest of the way. And Sarah's screaming at me. I'm screaming back at her. She's screaming back at me. I'm like, Sarah, shut up. You're causing a
This
scene.
happened more than once.
It did. People are staring at us. I'm like, Sarah, stop yelling at me. People are staring at us.
I'm only yelling because you're yelling.
And that happened all the way. And then we just stopped talking. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going. So we walked to the Contemporary, sat down, and then
More
like
than
20 minutes
once.
later, a bus came.
Yeah.
Finally. We got to Hollywood Studios and it was not worth it. For all that trouble, it was not worth
I
it.
just want to interject here. When I'm not the one causing the drama, it's a special day. Because I'm old. And
You're
things bug
37.
me. Bug me. So I'm usually the drama.
We are
Not
always
this time.
we are always the drama when we get together. It's just it was just a little bit exaggerated in that moment.
But what's funny is we were trying to get to Hollywood Studios because we had a fast pass. We get there, there's still a good 20 minutes
That's
before
kind of
fast
ironic.
pass. I know. We get there about 20 minutes before the fast pass is supposed to start. And we have no idea where we're going, so I get a map, we're trying to figure out how to get there. What does this one want to do? She stops walking dead in her tracks and is like, no, I'm getting a photo. I'm getting a photo in front of the theater.
You know what? We're probably late anyway, so I'm getting a photo because there's a magic photo person here that I can't.
One of those magic moment things.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm getting a photo in front of the theater. Are you coming or not? And I'm like, we have to go. Are you coming or not? Fine.
Yeah.
We get
We
a
have to
photo
have a
and we
photo
make
to
it.
remember this.
Oh, we do.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Insert photo here.
Needless to
So-
say,
How was your first day?
I get on Facebook at night, the first night, and I see this one posting, please pray for us. And people are you okay?
The
What's
people
going
from my church. Are
And I said to Jerry, I said, oh my gosh, people think we're beating them or something.
No, there's just a good possibility we might all kill each other. At
So
the end of
I was actually waiting.
Or at least you two.
Yes.
I was waiting for the church group to show up and save these poor, mistreated babies from Jerry and I at Disney.
I mean, if you gave Gloria enough time, she probably would have.
But that was like the crowning moment of my trip.
So how was yours
Well,
and
other
Jerry's
than the
first day
band
though
getting
in
hit.
Animal Kingdom?
Well, Animal Kingdom is one of my favorite places, and I would say this: if you know, I'm going to talk practical things about Disney and things I've learned about going. When you go to Disney, one of the most wonderful things to do is pick the season of the year that you want to go to. We've gone fall, we've gone Christmas. Christmas is by far the
We
most
should have
beautiful
went during
time.
Christmas.
They have big Christmas trees in every resort, and you can go in and tour the resorts, the main buildings, absolutely free.
Which is something we planned to do and never did.
Yes, at Christmas they have a giant gingerbread house that you actually get
In the
to
Grand
have pieces
Floridian.
of if you want. But every tree represents the area that you're in. So when we went with our family at Christmas, we have different family photos beside every Christmas tree and every resort we could get to. Absolutely beautiful. Animal Kingdom is our favorite place to go. You go outside and you can actually see giraffe and everything out in a fence. You walk in through through the big building, through the resort hotel, and then you go out the back and you go down and there's like a cobblestone path and boulders, and you go around and you can actually see the wildlife out there. So take the safari ride, go in. It's absolutely breathtaking. If I could afford it, that's the place I would stay when I go. I just love that place. Best shop, best food, everything is there. The other place is down on the lagoon. It's the seashore place. It's a big
Swan and
white.
Dolphin, maybe? Swan and Dolphin, or maybe the Boardwalk?
I don't know what it is, but I don't know what resort it is, but it's the one by the beach. That is the most beautiful place to see during the Christmas holiday. Everything is done in seashells and white lights. It was glorious. I love that place. Fall is not bad. Anytime after November and December, best seasons to go in. We went in Thanksgiving season one year and walked on every ride. I mean, you could actually run through the turnstiles and go on the rides. It was amazing. We never had that experience. So different seasons. When we went, because people had canceled because of the weather, and then everybody came in, and then I had all the families, the place was packed. Everything that we did was packed. And it wasn't I felt bad because what I heard from them was we hate Disney, we hate Disney. Now I will tell you, while you're at Disney, you hate Disney. You absolutely hate Disney. The whole time, how many times did you hear me say I hate Disney? Every time I go, I'm never going again. I hate that place. I am not a person who waits in line. You know, not even in a grocery store. I don't have the patience. So I will look for the line with the shortest amount of people, with the fewest amount of things. I'm not patient. Disney makes me crazy for that reason. I cannot wait. But you got to do Tower of Terror. Things you cannot pass up. Grand Prix, Tower of Terror, Indiana Jones and the Temple thing. That show was wonderful.
It's wonderful as long as you've seen Indiana Jones.
Which she hasn't.
Little kids like it. Little kids like it.
Unless you're the
because
little
they're
kid whose
grown-up
mother
stuff.
volunteered and then they spent the entire time crying.
But
Yeah,
what else?
what
But
happened?
Tower of Doom's like my favorite thing. That is my absolute favorite thing.
I
It
hate
scares
tower
living
drops.
daylights out of me, but I have to do it every time. I love anything fast and furious.
They have a Fast and the Furious ride now at Universal.
Well, we gotta go back. But I love that kind of stuff. I'm not so much now I will say this, I love Epcot. And I love, first time I went to Epcot, I never went. I think the first first four visits we ever went to Disney, we always did Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, that kind of thing, Hollywood Studios. Never went to Epcot because in your head you think it's, you know, it's more cerebral and more looking at things. Went to Epcot, fell in love with that place. You can see the Chinese soldiers, the warriors. The food is fantastic. You go from nation to nation to nation. When we went
It literally have the other.
at Christmas, every
Bishop
country
Earth.
had their Santa Claus out there. And the girls in my family got pictures with Santa Clauses
Chewy.
from around the world in different times. It was fabulous. So my recommendation is the Christmas holiday. They had a beautiful night where they had a choir come in and sing. It was wonderful, and the Christmas parade is fantastic. But do get the food plan when it's free. Very, very expensive if you don't. It might save you money even if you do have to pay for it. But all in all, when you get home, and this is the truth for them too, nobody liked it when they were there. I got complaints. On the way home, we were sad sacks. I'm so disappointed in Disney. It wasn't my dream. My dream is a mess, you know, blah, blah. About 3 weeks later,
Not even.
I see a post on Facebook.
From me.
We want to go back to Disney. I told Jerry, he said, not me. We're not doing it again. So anyway, that's what I have to say about that. That's pretty much what I remember.
If we ever did go back to Disney, I'd only really want to do one day of Magic Kingdom and Epcot because we didn't really get to do much.
Yeah, if there's anything that I'm most disappointed about was the fact that we didn't do Epcot, which is on us. We canceled it at the end of the day, but I think if we had known, which is, you know,
I would have rather
We
done
know
that
now.
than Animal Kingdom.
we know now, so we know how we should have done it and how we will do it if we do go back.
Christmas.
Is
Yes.
we would probably go around
Please.
Christmas time. I know Sarah wants to go back to Magic Kingdom for a day. I want to go back. I want to go to Epcot. I want to go to a water park. I don't care if it's one of the Disney ones or if it's Volcano Bay. I don't care. I'm going to a water park. I will go alone if I have to. And I'm getting a couple days at Universal. Maybe a day or two at the beach when it's nice and hot and sunny and not shark infested.
On my next video, we'll talk about cruising as opposed to Disney and all-inclusive as opposed to Disney.
Sure.
Do then.
So if you guys want to see Mara back, let us know. We'll have her back.
As long as she'll put up with us.
But yeah, actually I've actually done the math with it too, because we were originally considering like if there was a possibility of more people going with us. We had looked into the vacation homes, and I looked into it, and for the amount of money that we combined spent on our Disney trip, it would be cheaper to get like a rental house for 2 weeks and just
Oh yeah, that's what
You know,
my
do
daughter
stuff
and
in
her
Florida.
family does. They go down every 2 years to Disney. They rent a house in Orlando.
We should
and
do
you
that
stay.
next time.
That's what I would like to do is rent a house for like
I'm
2
going
weeks.
to the
you know,
Best Western.
Oh, we can do that.
that's what I would. It's either the Best Western or
It's 2
rental
hours.
house.
It's 2 hours from the Best Western to Orlando.
I'm sure they'll have a Best Western in Orlando.
Yeah, but I like that one. It's next to my family.
True.
Not risking it at another hotel. But
Just get up really early,
Yeah.
go to the parks.
yeah.
That's what my mom, before she passed, lived in New Smyrna Beach. So that's why we got to go to Disney so often. We would go stay with my mom, and then we would drive to Disney during the day. And then we would go home at night and drive to Disney during the day. So it's a little bit of a ride. You get up early, you get there when they open, and you stay late. We were younger, but I remember when we took Josh, and he was like carrying on your hip side, maybe 2. And I remember back then Jerry was much more into riding with the boys. So he left me and took the kids, other than Josh, and they went off and left me with the baby. And we were supposed to meet on the steps of the Magic Castle in time for the fireworks. Thank you. Those things, those lights. But Josh fell asleep,
Aw.
and I had to carry him the entire length of Magic Kingdom by myself. I'm telling you, if you ever wanted to hurt somebody, I was ready to hurt Jerry. You left me with that baby. And I felt that way this last trip. I was so hot. And I didn't carry stuff. You know, you just have your tags and you don't carry a bunch of, but you carry bottled water. And Jerry was sort of like so protective of me because I think he was waiting for me to pass out or something all the time. I'm sweating.
I'm surprised
you know?
you're
I'm
wearing
hot
that
flash.
That's me
I'm
with
like,
you.
I'm like a walking hot flash. So I'm burning up, and we're walking through Disney, and my feet are swollen, my hands are swollen. I am in agony. And he's going, drink water more, drink water more. I said, well, here, you get, and we get 1 bottle of water at a time, one of those big, you know. And I would say, you have to, no, you need it more than I do. And I was like, he's so sacrificial. You know, drink the water. I'm not the only one that can pass out from dehydration, so drink the water. But I love that he does that kind of stuff. He's like running to get me water, running to get me a Slurpee or whatever he has to do. But a good man that he put up with all of us and fixed the van when we came home. So.
Yeah, I was just kind of waiting for him to kill us the whole time.
Close.
There were points where he got very close to doing it too.
There were
Where
times
with
that
the
he scared
U-turn,
me.
with the U-turn, remember?
We don't want to talk about that.
That
U-turns are
was
illegal.
not a pretty.
U-turns
pretty
are
time.
illegal, and we don't do them. Never.
And
We don't pull
You
off
know?
on the side of the road.
you know, we don't yell at our spouses when they're driving,
No.
and our spouses don't want to kill everyone in the car.
Listen,
our
my-
GPSs aren't out to destroy us.
Yeah.
You know, these are not things that we experience.
Jerry and I will be married 45 years on February 1st. For 45 years, we have gotten along peacefully, except under two circumstances. One, if we try to do any electronics together. I have learned that it's time for me to leave because he doesn't
Dad.
read directions, and I do, and I'm always telling him what to do. More, I know what I'm doing. So he doesn't like that. And the other is driving. He is that typical guy that you can't tell, turn here, turn there. He gets frustrated, and it's not pretty. But you never hear him say a foul word. You never hear him assault anybody. I mean, he's a good guy. But electronics and driving.
I think we can all agree, though, one of the best parts about this trip was the pool.
Bringing it back to a positive before we end it.
Poop pool?
No,
No.
Best Western Pool.
Best Western Pool and the pop pool.
We're bringing it back to
Oh,
a positive
yes,
before
yes.
we close off the video.
I mean, if nothing else, the thing about Pop Century was they
Nipple
had
dipping.
really nice pools.
They did.
And the one thing that I really, really liked about their pool was they had the little ledge that you could like sit on in the water. And Sarah and I just ended up like docking on that ledge and just sitting there for like an hour and just relaxing and then going back to the room and dying.
Yeah.
And if you're going to buy souvenirs, I'm going to say this. If you're going to buy souvenirs, don't buy them at the park. They have a big Walmart or a Kmart. We left one afternoon and went shopping. That was the best decision we made. We bought a few things at the park, but when we got there, it was wonderful. T-shirts and, I mean, all kinds of stuff. They have a complete Disney line, and it's official Disney paraphernalia. So do that.
One of my best purchases was this Lady and the Tramp pin.
Oh, yeah, you should have brought some of your stuff.
Before we actually left for the park, they removed this from the store, so I thought they had discontinued it.
Oh.
And we found it in, I believe, what, Animal Kingdom? I think that's where I got most of my pins. So, yeah.
I have nothing else to say.
Ended it on a positive note.
We'll see if this happens again. Disney, Universal, Florida.
Cruise.
Hopefully at some point something can happen because I feel like now that we know what to expect, us at least, it would be a much easier thing.
She's like,
I
no.
say that slowly because I'm doubting it as I'm saying it.
Just look.
I would hope so anyway, at least a little bit.
We're still gonna.
Oh, and I have to
Oh.
tell you, do the, what's the flying thing?
Soren?
No, oh, soaring that is my husband's favorite thing.
Oh,
We
I
love
wanted to
soaring.
do that.
But no, the
Flight of Passage, maybe?
no, the blue people.
Yeah, Flight of Passage. In Avatar.
Avatar. That's what I'm thinking of.
Pandora.
Have to go to Avatar. Pandora.
We did it.
Pandora.
The
didn't go to
most
Pandora.
beautiful place
We did.
ever. Do everything you possibly can there. It is fantastic. Just to walk through there. You don't even have to ride anything. Just walk through. It's so beautiful.
I will tell you one other thing. Here's a tip. And I wanted to mention this earlier, but I forgot.
Billy Shearman.
Hollywood Studios. Anytime you're going to do anything with Hollywood Studios, be prepared. It is not easy to get to Hollywood Studios. I'm sure more experienced Disney goers will have better ways to get there. The first time we got there, we ended up walking to the Contemporary. The second time, we didn't even make it there. Because that's when we were supposed to meet them. We were supposed to meet them for dinner at the 50s Primetime Cafe. That didn't happen because it was the day that we were supposed to go to Epcot, and we canceled Epcot and went to Disney Springs for the day. Not even the day, like I would say what, maybe
Couple
2-3 hours.
Yeah.
And we were like, okay, we're gonna go shopping, then we'll come back, maybe swim a little bit, then head to dinner. We waited in line for a bus to come from Disney Springs to Hollywood Studios for a good hour. Meanwhile, in the middle of it
her the
all,
whole time.
they're texting each other, and she's like, well, we had to cancel you guys because they were going to charge you a fee. So we got canceled, and like that was like maybe like 10 minutes before we got the bus.
That
to
was
come.
that oldies diner night, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Don't go there.
And then we finally got to Hollywood Studios. We didn't even go into Hollywood Studios. We got off the bus and went to get in line for the pop bus, which took another like 30 minutes to get there, by the way. All the while, Sarah had called her mom.
I did.
Sarah had called Becky to complain. And I was not happy. I was not happy. I don't know if you know the story to the fullest. But, you know, I was a little ball of rage.
Never.
Completely and utterly, I will admit that. I was like, I hate this place. I hate Hollywood Studios. I hate Disney. I want to go home. I want my mom. I want my dad. I want my bed. I want my dog. And all the while,
Get out.
I have the messages still.
I got
From the
so
story we're
mad.
talking about.
I got so mad that I was in my
I know.
flip-flops
I
and
never
I went to
read my
kick a
messages.
pole. Well there.
Sorry.
I went to kick a pole with the bottom of my foot. because it was wearing flip-flops.
You did tell me that.
Yeah. So I was like so mad, but I was cautiously mad. I'm like, I'm not gonna hurt myself over this crap.
No, you should have done it, broken your foot, and sued them.
I wouldn't get nothing from them. What are you talking about?
We don't believe in that at all. Never, never, never.
You know what they would have given me?
Another fast
A
pass.
fast pass. Yep.
I will say they didn't
Oh, you
miss
broke
anything
your
for dinner that
toe?
night.
Here, have fast pass.
Yeah, that's about it too. Clean your own fridge for a fast pass.
That's another thing too, though. Whenever we did get checked in and stuff, they had offered to the next day move us to the 60s building,
Silent
which is
message.
where we thought we would be. They said we would get a silent message. We never got a message.
No, it's called a silent message.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't hear it.
Exactly. But when we got there, we were so emotionally and physically drained that Sarah called Becky
on the phone.
bawling and was just like out of commission for like 30 minutes. Meanwhile, I'm putting all my rage and disgust into speed cleaning the room. Meaning I emptied out my bags, put everything away, and then dumped Sarah's bag out on the bed. So by that point, I'm like, I'm not moving. We're staying here. So we ended up staying in the 50s building the entire time, which really wasn't that horrible. It was just the way it happened that was like, oh.
Why have you forsaken me?
The other thing you have to know too is don't count on their Wi-Fi.
Mm.
It comes and goes, so if you have fast passes and all of that,
You should really write them down.
write them down,
Take
print them out, do
screenshots.
something, because let me tell you, we had Wi-Fi maybe 10 minutes a day, and that was usually back in the room.
You have to think though, I mean, the amount of people trying to connect to that Wi-Fi at a time,
It's crazy.
no wonder. That's why you have to realize it's probably not going to be great. I mean, my Wi-Fi at my house, we have 5 people connecting to that thing and it's crap. I can only imagine millions of people at once trying to connect to my Wi-Fi. No, it would spontaneously combust.
Anything else before we end?
No.
Alright. This is the 3rd time we've tried to end this because we keep coming up with new ideas and new things to talk about.
I just want to point out that this is
Now
supposed to be
that
positive.
I know.
to
We'll get to
say-
it eventually.
This is kind of just a recap video of
Yep.
everything.
Recapping.
So if you guys want to see Mar again, let us know and we'll have her back. Because we love her, even though we
She
drive
might
her. We drive her nuts, and there might be a time where she never invites us back.
M-O-U-S-E.
Yep, and we'll leave it at that.
Mickey Mouse.